Hello everyone, Alejandro here from webconsulting.com, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how you can end feast and famine forever once and for all. I'm going to share with you the exact strategy that you can use to grow your very own web consulting business. You can literally copy and paste this strategy into your business and you will thank me later. Now, before we dive right into what this strategy is, I want to share with you before the change, before I implemented what you're about to learn in this video. I was charging $5,000 per site. I was living in revision hell. I was stuck in the feast and famine cycle. I was being everything for everyone. And my positioning was as a freelancer. And I don't know about you guys, but I never want to associate myself with anything that starts with the word free. I'd rather be an expensive lancer or problem solver lancer, but definitely not a freelancer. And essentially, I was doing all the work. After the change, after I implemented this strategy, I started earning high ticket offers plus retainers. I was more focused on the strategic leadership. I was using AI as leverage so I can retain my clients and I can scale. The results, I was now charging $10,000 for setups, getting paid up front, plus $5,000 retainers, plus long-term partnerships. The positioning here was I was being a trusted strategic partner. I started leading and I stopped doing all the work myself that allowed me to get paid more. Now, charging $10,000 for a setup, whether it's, and we'll talk about more details about what that looks like, is awesome, right? What's more awesome is being able to charge for the setup plus a reoccurring retainer. And by doing this combination, it allowed me to get my business to a $567,000. We did this in 1 year. We closed this. This, by the way, is January 1st to December 15, 2023. By the time we closed this year, we reached $567,000. We ended up doing $382,000 in profit. This is surplus. This is after all expenses were paid. A lot of people, everybody talks about money, but nobody likes to talk about, everybody talks about revenue, but nobody likes to talk about profit. And this screenshot is me sharing it publicly inside of a coaching call with my clients. And so transparency for me is extremely, extremely important. Now, that's good for me, but what about other people? I want to share with you that this same exact strategy that if you implement it in your business, you're able to get results like, and I blurred the names because I want to keep their information private since this is on a YouTube video. This client nailed a $7,000 a month deal. This individual right here ended up doing a $25,000 a month deal. This client right there also closed a $5,000 a month. Another client closed for the first time ever a $5,000 a month retainer. This is 10K setups plus $5,000 a month as a fractional CMO, which is what I'm going to share with you in just a minute, and a 12-month agreement. I have clients that charge the $4,000 setup plus $5,000 monthly, and the possibilities are endless. I have many more. I'm going to keep this video super short. So with that being said, this is the play, right? Charge for a setup plus retainers. So let me explain to you why this is the best method to kill the feast and famine. So here's what feast and famine looks like. Most of us, we start our businesses and we start with zeros, right? And we start with zeros, we worked our tails off to then make whatever it is that we're making. So let's say you make $5,000 here. Great. And then all of a sudden, this 5K, all of a sudden we're all the way down again, and now we're experiencing zeros again. Hopefully maybe you have a couple of retainers or maybe some maintenance or something that's reoccurring that maybe, let's say you're at $1,000 a month, right? And so the goal here is to not have to deal with this ups and downs. And look, sometimes the feast and famine is not necessarily 1 month you do good, the other one you do bad. It could be a situation where you have a super low month, right? Like you're on a constant downfall, and then you come up maybe every 3 months, right? So the feast and famine doesn't necessarily look like this, right? This is like maybe best case scenario. For some people, they are experiencing a longer famine, right? So what is the solution here? Instead of riding this crazy roller coaster, right? The solution that I suggest is number one, getting clear on your enough. How much money do you need on a monthly basis to cover your personal overhead and your business overhead? You write that number down. So let's say that number is $10,000. Okay, $5,000 for your personal, and then $5,000 for your business, right? So you need $10,000 to cover your overhead. Great. The goal here is one, getting clear on your enough, and two, making sure that your enough becomes your monthly recurring goal, right? So if we said you're going to charge, or you need to get $10,000 a month, then we need to make sure that your goal is 10K per month, okay? 10K per month. We need to convert these zeros so that your new zero becomes 10K per month, okay? 10K per month. And what ends up happening is if you make those your new zero, everything that you do on top, it becomes what I like to call is earned income, right? Like you have to go get the projects, right? You're constantly having to go get the projects. So let's say you landed a $5,000 website for the sake of this example. Great. So then you have your 10K that's covering your basis. That's your new zero. This is old earned income. And then now you did $15,000. 10 to cover your overhead. And then your $5,000 becomes your surplus. So that's the beauty of now having this distinction, which is get your zero to your MRR and then understand and have the clarity that anything that's on top of that 10K is your surplus, right? So you're covering your bases. And look, it's going to look like this, right? Like let's say if you're starting at zero, maybe you'll get to $5,000 a month on MRR, right? You're at 5K MRR. Great. So then you understand that at least you need half of your new zero is 5K. And if you want to get to your month and you want to complete your month, you know that you need another 5K, right? To be able to have your enough. But at least you're halfway through the battle, halfway through the mountain. You're already there. You're starting the month with half the battle completed, right? All you need is just to push a little bit harder to get you over the edge. So you want to make sure that this is your goal or your North Star, making sure that your monthly reoccurring is your new zero, that anything that you do that's a one-off project, it becomes your surplus, okay? And so the way we do this, the solution on how we get to do this is through retainers, right? Having retainers, having clients paying you monthly. You might be like, yeah, of course, no kidding. Of course, of course, that would be the best way to do it, right? So retainers is the best way to kill this fast and famine killer. You'll kill the late nights, the unpaid invoices, the empty pipelines, and stress because your new zero is your enough goal. You can start your month with clarity and not constantly have to be on this rat race, right? So let's talk about retainers. Retainers, specifically, there is an MRR and there's ARR. MRR, monthly recurring revenue. ARR, you guessed it, annual recurring revenue, right? And there are two types. And type number one is a low ticket retainer. And this is when you're charging between $100 to $1,999. The reason why I have this line in the sand is rule of thumb is anything that's $2,000 and up is considered high ticket. Okay, so between $100 to $1,999 is considered low ticket. Now, keep in mind that low ticket retainers, the lower you charge, the lower churn you have. The higher you charge, the churn can be it becomes higher, right? The way you control the churn, meaning for those of you that don't know what churn is customers leaving you, right? So for example, a low ticket retainer could be a website maintenance. It's crazy when I find people that tell me they don't charge for website maintenance, or they're like including all these things into their website maintenance is ludicrous, right? Being able to charge a low ticket amount where you're, let's say, maintaining a website or maintaining someone's hosting. There's many ways, and we can dive deeper into more details of this. Just stick with me here. When you have something like that, the churn rate, they're not gonna leave you. Like, people that have monthly maintenance with us, they don't leave. It's very rare when someone leaves, right? And then when you have a higher retainer, like let's say $1,999, the way you control the churn is by having agreements, having 3 months agreements, 6 months agreements, 12 months agreements, right? That way you can control the churn. I had a client of mine who said, hey, I got bad news. I'm like, what's going on? He said, my client left. I said, oh no, how long, what was the churn rate? He said 2 years. I said, bro, you should be counting after 3 months. If there's anything higher than 3 months, 6 months, you should be counting your customers out. From that point on, is surplus, right? Having 2 years, what a great run. That's amazing. It had to end. It was inevitable. It had to happen, right? So that's low ticket retainers. Next, there is high ticket retainers, 2K, 3K, 5K, 10K plus, right? Again, if you have the lower you charge, the lower the churn. The more you charge, the higher the churn. But again, you control the churn with agreements. That's why you want to look at your agreements and make sure that your agreements have 3 months, 6 months, 12 months agreements, so the client can give you a fair chance to actually getting results. And everybody must realize that it takes time to get results, that nothing happens overnight. And if you're getting those type of customers, they're going to be a headache. Run. Those are not ideal customers at all. People that want to see success overnight without actually putting in the work, or without having the proper time and allowing you to do the work, right? So those are the 2 types of retainers. You can charge monthly, or you can have a client pay you for the full year as well. You can have that. There is ways that you can get your customers to pay you annually as well. You want to have a mixture of both, right? Both MRR, AR. You want to have a mixture of low ticket retainers, high ticket retainers. So here's the play. I'm going to walk you through the exact play here. Okay. This is the secret sauce here, guys. Listen to me very carefully. So let's say you want to get to $10,000 a month. And let's say you want to charge $500 a month, right? That's your goal. In order for you to do that, you need to get 20 clients to pay you $500 a month. My argument is that to get 20 clients is going to take time, is going to take effort, and it's the same amount of effort that if you just get better at closing, if you learn the art of high ticket closing and you learn how to navigate a strategy call so you can close high ticket, if you put in the work and the effort, you are going to get compensated by being good at closing. You'll be able to charge more and work with 2 clients that, again, this and this takes the same amount of effort. It's going to take you the same amount of effort to get a $500 per month client than a $10,000 a month client. Okay? And so when people are like, oh, I want to do only low ticket offers. Just be mindful of the amount of work that you're going to have. I rather do the opposite. Let's get the most money we can up front. Once we get this dialed in, then we can downsell them to this. So let me walk you through the play of what that looks like. So here's the play. You have your customer and you have you're the web consultant here, right? You start them off with a high ticket offer, something foundational, right? Your setup, the client acquisition asset, right? Whether it's a website, a funnel, whether it's a community setup. Like there's many things, and we can dive deep into the actual offer in just a minute. But make sure that it's something that is high ticket, is a one-time setup, and it provides tons of value for your client, right? Great. Once you do that, instead of starting low, start high. That way you get great qualified clients. You're working with winners who want to win more. Then you ascend them to a low ticket retainer, between $100 to $1,199, depending on what it is that you're doing with them. And again, I'm going to talk to you about what that looks like in just a second. And then once you get them here, then you can ascend them to a high ticket retainer. And at this point, you're getting the most money up front, you're getting the most cash flow, the most oxygen for your business. Here, you're now getting something that is working towards your monthly recurring, making sure that you have set offers that's going to allow you to turn that zero into your enough. And then you're able to even ascend those clients because they're great clients. You've worked together, you're getting them results. And then you can have a conversation where there's trust there and you can ascend them to a high ticket retainer. So, my belief is, and it's so important for you to understand this, everybody has different expertise, skills, beliefs. You want to be able to look at an offer instead of copying the offer of somebody else. Understand what is your true expertise and craft an offer that is optimized for setups, low ticket retainers, and high ticket retainers. And based on your expertise, craft that offer. So again, it's optimized for those mechanisms. And then create a business that's authentic to you, that gives you joy, energy, and profit. So for me, I'm really great at creating client acquisition assets. And so that's my jam, that's my expertise. I have systems, SOPs, like I know how to make a system work, whether it's to maintain a simple website or whether it's having an email system implemented for the client and maintaining that. Like there is an expertise that I have when it comes down to systems for people to get client acquisition assets maintained so they can drive lead generation, client acquisition on their business, right? So I use that. And then if I want to do my high ticket retainers, for me, I understand what it's like to walk through client acquisition, go into someone's business, look how we find clients, how we qualify, how we close, fulfillment mechanisms, how do we onboard, how do we fulfill, how do we deliver. All that strategy is what I sell as a fractional CMO because that's my expertise, right? So again, you're your own person, you have expertise, you can learn these things as well and add that into your skill set. The point I'm trying to make is whatever your expertise is, craft an offer that's optimized for a setup, for a low ticket retainer, and for a high ticket retainer so you can ascend your clients, so you can get paid up front, work on your monthly reoccurring so that your zero is no longer zero, it becomes your enough. And I promise you, you're gonna start the month feeling refreshed, feeling great. And ultimately, what that's gonna do is going to allow you to perform with grace without having to be needy. You can say no to your clients or no to unqualified leads because you have your bases covered. And one last thing, instead of being like me where I was pretty much selling everything under the sun from web design, SEO, graphics, branding, ads, you name it, I would do it. I started selling my knowledge, my expertise. And what that allowed me to do again is build an offer that is optimized for these three buckets and that allow me to have now peace of mind when I start my months. And you deserve that peace of mind. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions about what I shared, feel free to ask in the comments. Or if you have any ideas of videos that you want to watch, I'm actually enjoying myself a lot making these videos for you guys. My intention is to make sure that you go from being the sun where you're like all over the place, not sure what direction to take, to just gain massive clarity so that you can have a clear path to success and you can build a business that gives you joy, energy, and profit. So that's it for me, guys. Create a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.